Hey everyone, welcome back to Firsthand Globetrotting. Today, I'll tell you about my favorite day trip to do in Belfast, Northern Ireland. A trip to see the Giant's Causeway and the Antrim Coast. Belfast is great, but if you want to spend a day out of the city seeing the Northern Irish countryside, the amazing coastlines, and some incredible natural wonders, then this trip is definitely for you. I took this footage on a trip a few years ago, so it's not as high quality as some of my newer stuff, but it should still show you how great of a day trip it is. If you're staying in Belfast, the most direct drive to the Giant's Causeway is a little over an hour, or around 2 hours if you want to take the scenic Antrim Coast Road. But if you don't have a car, don't worry, there are plenty of bus tours that will take you there. It's one of the most popular tours in Belfast. I took a bus tour and it made for a pretty great day. The first stop for nearly every tour is just outside Belfast at Carrickfergus Castle. It's from all the way back in the 1100s and is still one of the best preserved medieval castles in Northern Ireland. A few of the castle walls are right up against the water's edge, giving it a little extra protection from any invading armies. So it makes for a nice photo op at the start of your trip. But while the castle is nice, it's mostly just a bonus stop until you get to the real highlights of the trip. Back on the road, you're definitely going to want to look out the window as you drive. On one side, you'll be able to see the rolling green hills of the countryside and small Northern Irish towns. On the other side, you'll be able to see the incredible coastlines and amazing water views. But don't worry, you'll be able to get even better views of the coastline soon. The next place worth stopping is the Carrick-a-rede Rope Bridge. You're probably wondering why there's a rope bridge on the coast, right? About 350 years ago, some fishermen built the first bridge to connect the mainland to the tiny island of Carrick-a-rede. It's over 65 feet long and suspended 100 feet above the water and rocks below. It makes for a pretty impressive sight. And if you're brave enough, you can make the walk across it. The bridge is only wide enough for a single person at a time, but you'll be able to look over the side and see all the way down below. Once you get to the island, there's a short path you can take with some old fishing boats and a small fishing shack. But the real reason to cross the bridge is for the amazing views. You'll be able to see all the way down the coastline, see how the land falls into the sea, and get great views of the other islands out in the water. You're not going to regret crossing the bridge. But be careful, there aren't any barriers, so you can actually get really close to the edge of the island, and it's a long drop down to the water. Even if you don't cross the bridge, you're still going to have a great time seeing the views from the mainland and experiencing how awesome the Antrim Coast is. After you've had your fun at the rope bridge, the next stop is the highlight of the trip, the Giant's Causeway. As the legend goes, there was once a giant road connecting Northern Ireland to Scotland. And one day, the Irish giant Finn McCool was challenged to a fight by the Scottish giant Benandonner. After crossing the causeway, Finn got a glimpse of Benandonner and realized he was massive, even by giant standards. So, Finn had his wife disguise him as a baby. When Benandonner saw how large the baby was, he figured the father must be even bigger, so he fled back to Scotland, smashing the causeway as he escaped. And now, we can only see what's left of the highway where it connected to Northern Ireland. I suggest starting by taking the hiking trail through the hills above the causeway. The way the hills are formed, they seem to surround and shield the causeway, so it's almost like it's hidden away down there. You'll get more incredible views of the coastline, and you can look down on the sights and tourists below. After hiking up top, you can take a staircase down so you can start exploring the causeway's natural wonders. The causeway is made up of thousands of stone columns in different shapes and arrangements. They formed from volcanic activity, which is nearly as cool as being formed by fighting giants. Some stick straight up and are built right into the mountainside, arranged kind of like giant organ pipes. Other ones are way off in the hills over the water and look like fence posts that keep the ground from spilling down into the ocean. And going back to the giant theme, down by the water there's one that's shaped like it's one of Finn McCool's boots. But what I really loved was a huge collection of them that seemed to form a little pier out into the water. You can get on top and really see the shape of the columns and how they all fit together. It's a great place to walk around and explore, or even just a place to sit and watch the waves crashing against the rocks. I really can't say enough good things about the Giant's Causeway. My biggest recommendation is to make sure that if you're taking a bus tour, that it gives you as long as possible at the causeway. Some tours only give you an hour or so, which I don't think would be enough. Our tour gave us a little over 3 hours to explore, so we were able to spend a lot of time out there enjoying how beautiful and scenic it is. Honestly, as a nature lover, I think I could have spent the entire day there. So that's it. Now you know all the great things to see and do on a day trip from Belfast to the Giant's Causeway. The Giant's Causeway is definitely the highlight, but Carrickfergus Castle and Carrick-a-rede Rope Bridge make for some great pit stops along the way. Hopefully this helps you plan an amazing day trip of your own. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. And make sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and of course subscribe to my channel. On Twitter, I'm Firsthand Globe. On Instagram, I'm Firsthand Globetrotting. Follow me on there. And don't forget, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.